Morning, folks. Brian here from the Brian Star Observatory. Sunday, November 12th, 2023 on the planet. Hope you're all well. I'm doing okay. Especially after my morning entertainment YouTube videos. So I want to talk a little bit about mental health, delusions, obsessive compulsive disorders. Well, I don't know. We can throw in some hyperthymesia because I'm well versed in that definition. And the truth of who we are, because through truth and honesty comes integrity and strong moral principles. Something that this world is lacking a lot of. So let's talk about us as YouTubers. So most of us, we may start off with our sincerity and our fields of study and interests, even dedicated with passion. But to some, they veer off course through fraud and con and deception away from the truth. And for personal monetary gain. Some also lead you away from Him. So let's start off with who I am not. I have done this video before. I'm very happy to do it again. Let's start off with who I am not, unlike others who lie on who they are. So first, folks, I am not an astrophysicist. I'm not a geophysicist. I'm not a mathematician. And I'm not a scientist. Neither are the other ones. I do not have degrees in fields which has nothing to do in the field of study in which people report on. When somebody asks you for your credentials, you cannot say, well, I have 2 degrees, but it has nothing to do with why they're there on YouTube. That deceives people. Nor can you use the excuse, well, I have mild hyperthymesia. People, I'm going to once again give you the proper definition of hyperthymesia because I am well versed in it, in the care of somebody who does. Hyperthymesia is the ability to recall and remember in great vivid detail personal past life events and experiences. By no definition whatsoever is hyperthymesia a measure of one's intelligence and intellect. No. Hyperthymesia, people recall the details with great accuracy on their past, especially past traumatic experiences, especially in their upbringing. That is the true definition of hyperthymesia. So I'm going to give you a hypothetical example. Let's say you had a father who you were raised in a strict environment. I don't know, let's just say he was maybe ex-military, or I don't know, maybe he's one of those 3-letter alphabet agencies, right? And you were brought up in strict harshness and you have some very bad memories. And because you were brought up that way, normally those people end up treating other people the same way. You become how your father was. and you treat people the same way. That is hyperthymesia. In some cases, but not all, but some cases, some characteristics of people that also have OCD, obsessive compulsive disorders, in some people. Again, I have personal experiences. As for speed reading, so my daughter, when she was in kindergarten, she was already reading full books. And by grade 1, she was speed reading and tested. At age 3, she had a fascination with the planets in our solar system. A fun game we would play at night to put her to sleep. We would go through naming all the planets. I would say such things as, what's the name of the red dusty planet? And she would think. And she would say Mars, and she would pronounce Mars, and she would spell out Mars, and I would say, what's the 2 beautiful blue planets? And she would say Neptune and Uranus, and she would tell me which one is off its axis, and so on. So I guess, therefore, at age 3, at age 6, she was a qualified scientist. Amazing, huh? She's 15 now, and she has autistic spectrum disorder, OCD, and other issues, as well as vivid dreams and nightmares of our future. I guess she's the same, isn't she? It's a pity she doesn't have her own YouTube channel. I don't know. Observers for Children, maybe? I don't know. As for who I am, truth and honesty. I've done this before. I'm happy to do it again. I don't bullshit you. My last completed grade was grade 10. I started grade 11 twice, but then dropped out because of circumstances from a broken up family, and I had to start off on my own at age 16. At age 18, I enlisted into the Canadian Armed Forces, Infantry, Combat Arms. Did my training up here in Canada back then. Boot camp and combat arms training was over 6 months long. Among the top military in the world, surpassing the United States at that time. Then I got my honorable medical discharge because of a bad back. My first job getting out of the service was as a skip tracer for a collection agency. Therefore, I have a number of valuable skills in finding the truth about certain people and frauds. Then I got into the different fields of security, uniform and as a suit. Became a safety coordinator for one of British Columbia's, the largest hospital in Vancouver. And through that, daily and nightly experiences in dealing with mental health, through PsychEmerge, a psychiatric assessment unit, in-ward psych wards, pediatric psych wards with the kids. So I know a lot about mental health. Following that, I got into what's called occupational first aid, which is first aid in the workplace. I achieved my highest level of certification and maintained that for 28 years. However, as I wanted to better help my fellow workers when they became ill, because it's not all about broken bones and lacerations, I did the equivalent of pre-med study because I wanted to know a lot more about the human body and how we function right down to the cellular level. Therefore, I know Because sometimes you'll have workers that go down, might be a cardiac complication, cardiac arrest, transient ischemic attack, little stroke, environmental emergencies, other medical emergencies. And I worked in construction on the high-rises and tilt-up constructions and leafy condos, and I got tired of working for the man making money off of me, so I started my own independent business as Brian's Handyman. And how did I get so many dedicated homeowner clients for years? Integrity, honesty, trust. Simple. Until 6 years ago, I could no longer work because of degenerative disc disease of the spine, arthritis in the knees, the hips, the hands, the fingers, and everywhere else in this dusty old bag of bones of a body. And that was actually my awakening. My awakening was spiritual, but which I sought out other connections. See, in the 1970s, I first read the book of Revelation. At that time, I thought, no, we're not there yet. But now, unfortunately, the majority of the population flock to fear porn and deception and lies and frauds. And that's why these other YouTube channels have hundreds of thousands of subscribers or million plus subscribers, because that's what people want. They feed off that fear. And their level of intelligence isn't all that high when they believe the fraud. And fancy word salads. But it's gotten to the point where one particular person will use God's name, saying, God will punish you for not donating to my observatory. And another one, one moment, please. And another one who will wear this around his neck. While publicly calling people pussies and snowflakes. Making reference to the bitch slapping of a woman. And treating people like a piece of shit. Is that a true Christian? Or one of Satan's minions? Hyperthymesia. So, I'm not a professor. I will mention one person that I like watching to and I give reference to. This is a professional lady who does come with credentials. I enjoy listening to Dr. Tamitha Skell, the space weather lady. I enjoy the way she presents her reports, her teaching mannerisms. And I often get reminded. She reminds me of that disco song. I'm so excited, I just can't hide it. She really gets into it. I'm not a professor, and neither are the rest. I don't have bachelor's degrees, and neither do the rest. I'm not a scientist, nor are the others. I'm a student. I'm a student. This is my study. And you know, sometimes in my study, I don't always get it right. And sometimes people will correct me and thank you for correcting me. But I do recognize now, unlike in the 1970s, we are about to get into the period of tribulation. We are about to go into the beginnings of sorrows, because I recognize the beginnings of the earth pains. And these are things that none of the others are telling you about. Because for them, it's all about personal monetary gain and insulting the Son of God and insulting him himself. I don't say go through my playlists to make money. I say go through his playlist, because he's far more credible in his credentials than anybody else. I say not go straight to the 66th book into the book of Revelation. You have to start right at the very beginning, because there's a whole lot of other things that you need to learn and understanding before you get to that final book. That's who I am. So after getting my morning laugh, entertainment, watching YouTube videos, you know what I'm talking about. When you hear the click of a lighter, right, and then silence, oh, anger, rage. Oh. Did you do your background check on the other people living with him in his rental? Do you know one of the persons was busted for being a drug runner for the Chieftain gang? You need to understand the psychology, the mental illness of some people. When they push a fraud for long enough, they begin to believe it as truth. And then they become jealous of the other guy who's making a lot more money through his fraud. Me? Mentally unbalanced? Crazy? No. I've worked the system. I know the clear definition and personal life experience with mental health issues. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, folks. I hope you go to school, start learning something. Yeah, that's it for now.